the main focus of issue 2 is the juice bar, is Tyler, is the customers, you know, the wacky customers we always talk about. Happens at the Plus, happens at the juice bar. They kind of argue over, you know, who has the wacky customer. You know, the Plus in issue 1 had a lifeguard and his girlfriend, you know, a big jacked up lifeguard. Bro, where's my pizza, bro? And so with Jamaican Me Juicy in issue 2, I was like, look, you know, you're gonna get some kind of, you know, some real characters in here that are ordering some weird stuff. You know, you don't even go to like a juice bar. Like, there's stuff, if you're not a health nut, or if you're not one of these people, there's things like chard, prune nuts.
Oh, put like, some grass, put some like
there's all like
seaweed in there.
Kale, there's like all sorts of stuff. So we really wanted to have one of these people. And the inspiration writing the character, the customer at the juice bar was more a guy that actually know. He looks more like Tyler, but he talks more like the customer. A guy we used to work with, actually, who had dreads. I won't say his name, but he was kind of the inspiration in my mind. I was channeling his voice, and so I gave the character to Tim, and I was like, I kind of see him as a combination between Guy Fieri, like look-wise, Guy Fieri, and Bushwhacker Luke. And we're both big wrestling fans. Issue number 3 is gonna have a big wrestling theme to it, but yeah. When I said that to you, what did you think?
Well, I was like, is he gonna be licking characters? Like
the Bushwhacker,
yeah, like the Bushwhacker character be licking? But no, I thought that was great because you know I googled like images of like the of faces and stuff, and I mean these guys are very unique, so it was kind of interesting to take a little bit of this concept and a little bit of that concept and merge it, but. You know, reading the script and talking with Chris, like they're ordering these weird concoctions, like these weird drinks. So
funny names. They're trying to come up with funny names.
They're pretty funny. And, they're pretty funny. And so it was trying to find that, you know, this guy's ordering this, but what's he look like? Like, what's the guy look like that's ordering this weird, you know, this weird drink with this like really funny name to it? So that's kind of where it
and the girl working there is like, what? Like she does, like just the language he's using, and like he's just
the body language, just.
And she's just like, what? Like just order a drink. Like I've seen.
You don't have to get into it, guy. Just order the drink. I know it's a funny name. You just. Yeah, I've been here for 10 hours. Just tell me.
So the wrestling influence there, and also wrestling influence came in earlier in issue 2 when we were talking about the flea market.
Right.
And you can wrestle a guy down at the flea market for, you know, a couple bucks, and if you lose, he takes you out for ice cream. Like, I don't even know where I came up with that, but
it's gold.
I gave Tim for that one. I just gave Tim the name. I was like, his name's Fuzzy Sherman. I was like, I don't know where that came from.
Wrestling name.
I was like, do what you want to do with it. I was like, come up with something. You showed me a couple of drawings. I think one of them we actually pushed back. I said, use that for the next issue. I was like, I want him to look kind of weirder. And you gave him kind of like, he looks like a cross between Bastion Booger, the old wrestler, and his hair looks like one of those bears from the Hair Bear Bunch, that old cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell him that. He got that.
As soon as I was like,
Hooray, the Hair Bear man. Awesome Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
You put the Hair Bear Bunch guy's hair on the Bastion Booger, change the color scheme, and then just, it's funny because
there's so many like little Easter eggs or goose eggs, whatever, in
the Easter egg.
Easter eggs. There's so many.
There's so many goose eggs.
But there's so many that the more you read and like, you know, when you buy issue 2 and you buy issue 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth, you're gonna go back and you're gonna see little things that are like, oh, that is, you know, is that, you know, a wrestling reference? Is that a Big Boss Man reference? Or is that, you know, Princess Bride reference or something like that? You're going to pick up these little things. And
it's just fun to write that way. And it's fun for him to draw that way. Like, that's kind of like, you see that on so many shows now. Like, I mean, because a lot of my influence, I think, comes from TV. And I think more of your influence comes from movies.
Right. To
a degree. And then with both comic books, obviously. But it's cool to, like, mesh the two worlds. And, like, he does stuff that I don't think of. And I write stuff that he's like, what do you want me to do with this? Like,
I'm not sure I can draw that, man.
Yeah, like sometimes you really, like, I have to give him, I'm like, yeah, you're right, you need help with that. And then I have to come up with, like, what was I thinking when I wrote that?
And it's good to get that feedback from him, because as he's describing it, you know, whether we're doing it on Skype or something, I'll look at his mannerisms, the way he's looking, or, you know, maybe as he's describing it, he's moving a hand a certain way. I'm like, ooh, that looks good. And he doesn't know it until now, but I'll screen capture it, and I'll use it as a reference for later. So,
Yeah.
Fun fact right there.
Yeah, my facial expressions, I can usually get my point across. But, so, I mean, it's really funny because, like, the Moose character to me, Moose is the character that I'm having the most fun with. Like, Junior's the angry character. Junior's always angry and like, oh boy, not again. You know, Finch and Barry are kind of like the heroes, I guess, to a degree. And then Moose is kind of like the wild card. And that's the thing, like, all these characters are originally based off people Tim knows or knew or worked with, except for Barry. Barry was my creation. So, like, but I don't know them. So, like, I don't have a reference point for Junior. I don't have a reference point for Moose, to a degree. I've actually met the real Junior. I don't have the story. So, like, anything I write, it's just like me in my head, what do I want this character to be? And Moose is kind of the wild card. He's got the plus goblins on his shoulders. He's talking about wrestling a guy down at the flea market and going out for ice cream with him. Like,
and then it was okay.
And then that's fine. That's Moose.
It's like a normal day. It's a normal, interaction with him. Like, yeah, I just wrestled a guy at a flea market and we went out for
and
ice
I
cream.
lost,
Yeah,
so he took
we went for ice cream. Like, this is normal in his world.
And they're like cuddling with each other. I'm like, you know what? That looks right. And it's like, it's not, yeah.
The facial reaction is just, I show Chris the first sketch of the scene where they're having ice cream together, and I got back, ...
It's like,
awesome. And I was like, all right, I nailed it. Just the awkwardness of the scene.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. Everything is A Daze Work or At A Daze Work. We were lucky enough to get all those. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting us. And
stay dazed.